Well, thanks for joining me. My guest for the morning, Philip Langdon, is an aide to Alan Tramanting, and they are currently they are on the campaign trail, making sure that they get the votes. As of now, we know that the population of the delegates of the MPP who will be electing the flag bearer on Saturday, number in excess of 140,000. That's huge. Okay, so Philip, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, and Bright Demoji is a member of parliament for English Amanfo. That is
Botiano
English Amanfo.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
When are you going back to parliament? When is
it's supposed to be the end of the month.
Okay,
we are here to receive a communication from the speaker.
Are the subventions going now?
You're talking about statutory funds?
Of course.
Oh, there are some gaps in terms of...
okay, so we start our discussions this morning. Ghana's missions, according to the Daily Guide and the other news reports, are seen to be broke. Brazil, South Korea already shut down. There are reports that Japan in great difficulty and some other missions also in Europe suffering. And I have to start with you, Bright.
Yes. This is not a
new thing.
A very good news.
Okay.
Very good news in the sense that, you know, the missions abroad are like a service center or a call center for our relations with those countries. And I don't know how true is this story, because I'm very sure that when they say a mission is closed down, I'm very sure, because I'm not very sure in the sense that there are staffs who are working there, and the staffs are being paid from the consolidated fund. And I'm tempted to believe that the salaries of those staffs are being paid. So when they say a mission is closed down, I don't get it. We need to find out whether that is really the case.
Well, it's not as if there is a Daily Guide that is only reporting this. That's
why I'm saying that we need to get the official communication from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I know the minister is fully in charge, and so that we can get the full story, because the staffs have been paid. And if you have been paid, how come you say that the department or the mission is closed down? Does it mean that the staff salaries are not going? Is that what they're trying to tell us? If there are some financial challenges at the missions in terms of their operations, we can agree. But I don't have any official communications from the ministry or from the department saying that all the staffs from the what is it, Korea or what? Korea and Brazil have been recalled to come to Ghana. There's no official communication from the ministry.
They're still at post, you mean?
Yeah, they are still at post. So the moment they are at post, they should be working. There may be some one or two financial difficulties, as it's been happening even in Ghana here. And I'm saying that those missions are under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and those departments are equally important, like Ministry of Health and Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Do you understand me? So if there are some challenges with regard to those ministries, it's possible there could be some challenges in the other ministries. But the point I'm making is that I don't believe that the missions have been closed down.
Mr. Demoji, do I seem to get the idea that you seem to be sweeping this very important subject just under the carpet?
No.
You think that just is a very trivial issue?
I'm saying that, that's why I said that they serve as an interface between this country and other countries abroad. And so they are very important ingredients. That's how they are not private entities where they draw their salaries from their own resources that they generate. It is from the consolidated fund. So their salaries are being paid. So if a salary of a staff is being paid, and you tell me that the department is being closed down, how can I believe this? And we have a Ministry of Foreign Affairs in this country. So you can check out from the paper, and I am not surprised. You can check what is the official source of the information that the delegate is talking about, from somebody, a staff which is not even known. If you read the story into details, the person's name is even not mentioning.
That's a source.
It's a source.
In journalism, you don't always quote your source.
You know, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. But after you get the source, you can get official information from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to make your story authentic. If you get a source,
it's not.
The point I'm trying to
according
make
to the ethics of the job, you are allowed.
The point I'm trying to make is that you get a source. You understand me? You can go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get a reaction from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for their version, so that we can just oppose the two, your source.
But
you know the
chief director of the ministry had been on radio some few days back,
saying that what?
Saying that yes,
that the mission is closed down.
Not closed down. That some of them, yes, they've had allocations delaying.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean they are shut down. I said it, that even in this country, some departments are very.
Somebody will say you're just making an excuse, though. But we'll come.
No.
But do you think that's the way we need to be going, sir?
Not at all. Not at all. It's very unfortunate. First of all, our missions are neither service centers nor call centers, and I pray to God that that is not how the government is seeing our missions. These are our embassies. They represent our national interests and safeguard and protect our national interests and build on our national interests in those countries where they are represented. They are a very, very important part of our governance structure. They are there to see to the protection and welfare of our citizens and their interests in those jurisdictions where they are located. So they have a very important function. So every government worldwide makes sure that their missions all over the world are well resourced in terms of financial and material resources, and even the human resources that manage those missions are the best who can do the best for the country. So if we are having these difficulties with our missions, it is a serious problem. Very, very serious. And it gives you the sense, because look, our missions even guard our national security and sovereignty. They have intelligence officers. They try and find out what's going on. The world has become very wary of various developments of so many things I don't want to talk about. And our missions are there to keep an eye, to assist our authorities to be on the lookout and to be on the alert to prevent any problem from coming in here. So if we are dealing with our embassies this way, it is most unfortunate. I can also assure you that if my brother is saying that the ambassadors are still at post, but any ambassador whose mission is under stress, the way these missions have been described, will be in Accra.
Trying to look for
money. He will be in Accra. So the fact that the ambassador has not been removed from his office, he has not been recalled, he has not been sacked, does not mean the ambassador is at post. And mind you, some of these missions are responsible for not just one country. The ambassador and some of his officers have a responsibility to make certain trips to
for some countries in a particular region.
So if they are distressed, then everything comes to a standstill. Our interests in those areas too are very jeopardized. So this is a major problem, and I would expect the minister. I mean, I've been busy doing campaigning, so I haven't actually heard what you're saying about the chief director.
The chief director on radio.
But if the chief director has spoken, the minister should have come out with a statement by now.
I believe on Friday also.
The minister has come out with a statement?
No, the chief director was on radio.
Today is Tuesday. He said the chief director was on radio on Friday.
I think so.
We had the whole weekend. Monday, first working day, we haven't heard anything. Today we are Tuesday. If by close of day the minister hasn't spoken, I'll be very, very disappointed. It will be another example of how badly our affairs are being handled.
But especially when we're having subventions and some of these allocations to MDA still not going through. And I know that your institution, the legislature, is also, should I say a victim, but also parts of the institutions that don't seem to be getting the allocations. It doesn't make sure that we have public offices running adequately.
Yeah, I mean, frankly speaking, if the subventions are not going, it retards progress, it retards the administration of the department. There's no way you can run away from this fact. So I think the executive arms of government or the finance ministry should quickly make some arrangement and make sure that at least because the department runs on those resources. These are not, most of these departments don't generate IGF and they depend solely on those subventions. So I think the Ministry of Finance should come up with some arrangement to be able to ensure that. But in any case, I'm not only saying that. The reason why I said they are service centers in the sense that if anybody at all, a Ghanaian or anybody goes into those countries, the first point of call is to go to an embassy. Or if anybody in those countries wants some information about Ghana, that's the first point of call. That's why I use that word. But I don't mean to say that that's their only core functions. That's what I'm saying. So what it means is that if the office closed down, if somebody needs any information about Ghana or anything, that's why I coined that word. But I don't mean to say that the only responsibility of a mission or embassy outside this country is just for a call or a service center. No, that's what I mean at all.
Do you think that perhaps government seem to be reneging on some of its core responsibilities as far as the priorities are, and perhaps focusing on projects and subjects that could have been better dealt with at a later date?
Well, if the government was focusing on some other projects and subjects you are referring to, well, then maybe we can say maybe that is how they want to go about things. But I can't even see any projects or subjects that they are focusing on. Oh,
they are investing in interchanges, a lot of activities. We have a factory in Komenda. We also have a number of projects. There's an airport in Tamale, for example, a number of roads, and those are the things. For example, here in Accra, there's an expansion of the Ridge Hospital.
I agree, my brother. There's a lot of traffic just down the road here. Why? Because there's a massive interchange being built. Very impressive, and probably the biggest in Ghana. It's a very impressive project, and I must commend the government for that. But the fact of the matter, if you take the resources of Ghana, if you take where we are, this should not be the only interchange we should be building. Our government should have been building by now. This should have been about the 4th interchange we are building.
Okay. There's also one that's going to be built at Kaswa.
I know. It is to be built at Kaswa. There are about 12 more to be built. They are all to be built. I'm talking about the one that has been built in the 6 years that we are here. I'm saying that, yes, statutory payments should have gone. Projects have to be done. Some projects are being done. I'm not saying nothing is being done. But what is being done with the resources at hand, we should have been doing far more than we are doing now. That is the fact of the matter. Statutory payments, there's a budget. There are certain essential payments that must go. After you've done those essential payments, then the other monies that you have, you use it to do other things. It is how best you can manage the two that shows how well you are doing as a government. The fact that you are doing one very impressive interchange alone doesn't mean you are doing it well. I mean, you have a fine establishment here, but the skill to which you can have different programs at different studios at the same time and put out so much on air shows how well your organization is being run. But if you just say, okay, you're just doing one thing and you spend the whole day just doing one thing, it doesn't mean you're doing well enough. So I'm not saying the government is not doing enough or is not doing well. Yes, there are certain things. This interchange I'm saying, it's very impressive, it's very nice, it's a good project for Ghana. We're all grateful. But for where we are coming from, what we have and what we can do, we should be doing 3 times more than what we are.
You're saying it's inadequate?
Absolutely.
Yes, look, but we still should be grateful for a lot of the things that we're doing.
Oh, as for grateful, we are not saying we are ungrateful. We are saying that a good thing has been done, but we expect to see more. You understand what I'm saying? A lot is expected from us, from our families, etc. So if you are delivering something that is not up to expectation, they have a right to say...
Somebody say because you're in your opposition party, there's nothing that the government of the day, just like the way we seem to be practicing our politics, that will be good enough for you, as far as not necessarily commendation, but also saying this is a job well done or being done by government.
Well, on a personal level, I abhor that type of politics, where any government, whether it is the ruling government or another government or some other party, where the opposition will just condemn and run down what that government is doing, is something I personally am not in favor of at all. It doesn't help us. If somebody is doing a good job, they are doing a good job. If the good job they are doing should have been done better, let them know. It will even set them thinking. And they will do better. At the end of the day, when they do better, we all benefit. So if, like I'm saying, there's a good project here, I will commend the government for putting up such an impressive project. We hear they are running ahead of schedule, they are working well and everything. That's fine. I mean, I don't see how any rational person should see anything wrong with that. But it still does not take away from the fact that I sincerely believe that that very good project, by now, we should have had more than that one going on in Ghana by this time. So yes, I'll be critical, but I will not just go outrightly to condemn. I don't think that style of politics is good for us as a nation.
Okay, so...
Yes, yeah, I get a little bit, let me use this word, for want of a better word, confused. Because initially you said the government is not doing anything.
Oh, did I say that?
Yes.
I don't think so.
That's what you
That
said.
the government is not doing anything?
Yes.
You said you
Yeah,
didn't
sure.
say it.
Yes, I heard it loud and clear.
Well,
that's how can you ask him and you start mentioning the things.
I remember what he said
No.
was they said a lot could have been done.
yes. No, let me give an example.
can
For
play the
example,
feedback
he was talking about the interchanges.
That's why I
and
get
he was saying
confused at
that
the letter
by this
end
time we
of
should
it.
have been building like
No,
this.
that's
like
when
over the
you
period.
start mentioning the things.
No.
The point I'm trying to make, that's if you can.
Okay.
The point I'm trying to make is that, you see, we all know in this country, if you take it sector by sector, we can mention in a lot of things that this government doing. We can take it from the agriculture sector, come to the education, come to transport and all that. We can continue to anyway, but every government is supposed to develop this country. That is normal.
Yes.
For every government to undertake projects, serious projects. But you see, if you are doing projects that are more or less depending on IGF revenues within the country, because if you take a project in my constituency like this, which is all the bypasses with regard to the Kasua interchange, is domestically financed. Huge sums of money. I think 30 million Ghana cedi. You understand me? And don't forget, all the other gangs projects that are supposed to be rolled on from 2013 is being paid domestically. You see, so because of that, there's a huge chunk of money which is supposed to pay for all those projects to proceed. Apart from that, we all know in this country, the composition, it's been a debate in this country, the composition of our revenue, our expenditure, where the expenditure is going in terms of salary against other development projects. And it's been argument where the whole stakeholders forum on how we should be able to manage our single spine salary structure, the composition of the single spine against the revenue streams and all that. It's there. So definitely you expect that as your revenue is not jumping to the level you expect, there'll be some difficulties with regard to subventions and all that. If the difficulties were that we're not being able to pay salaries, then I have some level of difficulty, because that's a key thing on every government operational expenditure. So that is being taken care of. So all that I'm trying to say is that government is doing a lot of things as far as I'm concerned, because in my own constituency, I'm experiencing a lot of transformation. My constituents are seeing it clear. So if you sit in the studio here to say that the government is not doing much, yes, we need more. Because there's no having your own son in your own house. When you buy another car, you want another one.
Well, somebody said you're in a state of refusal and a state of denial. When you're being told that as a government, you could have done better than you're doing as far as the expenditure pattern is and where the priorities should be.
Yes. No. How? I mean, it is not debatable. It's not something that we need to debate. The point that there is some difficulties with regard to some embassies, it's not a good thing. It's not a state of denial.
It's not only that we have other subventions and allocations to many MDAs that have still not been paid.
Yeah, there are some
for a number of quarters for the current fiscal year.
Yeah, there are some difficulties. As I said, even in our own parliament, there are some difficulties in our own.
You call them difficulties, eh?
Yes, why not? If you are not able to pay, it's a difficult challenge.
We've gone beyond difficulties. So.
So it's a challenge that, yes.
It's not a crisis, more like.
Crisis? No, it cannot be crisis, because if you are not able to pay, especially the key thing, your human resource and operational expenditure is key. But I think that, yes, there'll be some improvement, because honestly, in the last quarter of last year, and then entering into this year, it is more challenging than it is now. But so I've seen some level of improvement in some other areas. So what I'm trying to say is that nobody can run away from the fact that there are some difficulties in the areas of subventions in departments and agencies. It's a fact. And I'm also urging government and the Ministry of Finance to speed up the process to ensure that state agencies and departments run effectively and efficiently. It's a fact. Okay. We cannot run away. But all I'm saying is that we cannot also say that government is not doing a lot. Because if you want to enumerate the kind of thing government is doing, I make a typical example of my constituency, which is going to benefit from one of the major projects that we are going to have. I mean, the Kaswa Interchange. Most of the benefit and artery and auxiliary works are going to happen along the western corridor of Accra. You understand me? Most of the time when they say Kaswa, people think it's central region, but most of the activities is within Greater Accra and Kaswa Exchange. And it's a huge project going on there. So we can continue, especially
from the way you're going your campaign for the next one. That is, if you win your primaries, is going to center around it, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. If there are good things in your area, it's good for the people.
All right. The fights on Ebola seem to be increasing, and in countries where we have all the infections, especially in Liberia, there's supposed to be a strike action by the health workers just because they thought that their basic risk allowances should have been increased, but many of them turn up for work all the same on Monday and today as well, and that has been reported in the newspapers. But on the front page of the graphic, for example, government has seemed to have installed an equipment at KIA to screen for Ebola. This one, we're told, you don't need, you just walk through and then everything is done. All that. The other one, you just needed to use an infra, blah 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 blah. This is the right step in the right direction.
Oh, definitely. It is definitely. I mean, this, like you're saying, it's a more advanced from what they were using before, where it's like a gun, they point at your forehead and they read. But this one is like it actually scans your body to see where the temperatures are. So if, let's say, you have the other one just tells you if your temperature has gone up, in which case there could be, it will pick up any fever. But this one has a broader scan to be able to tell that, no, this one is not just a fever, this is something more serious, you know, and it is less intrusive. That means that you just walk past and they're able to assess you as you're walking.
So nobody gets to harass you and say, please stop.
Yeah, because it has been suggested in some areas that even the fact that people go and stand there together, that anxiety alone is enough to raise some people's body temperature to give a certain wrong reading. So this is a good step. It's a good equipment and another good thing towards the fight of Ebola.
But right, there's still concerns by some health workers that especially in the border areas, some health institutions still have not been equipped enough. Well, it's not as if they haven't been equipped enough.
Yes, I also heard a report from an NGO who is also complaining or making some recommendations as to how we're supposed to speed up the process of equipping those hospitals, especially along the entry points. It is very important. I think the time frame that we have now, we should be doing better than we are doing. If there are still complaints along the borders, but you know we have a very porous border system. I don't know if you live along the borders of the border and then even the western region, coming into this country. My human being is not any difficult thing. I don't know how we can solve that problem. But if you live along the borders of this country, you see that if you want to come to this country, you will definitely come. I can tell you for a fact. And you may not, if you don't want to be screened.
But that is not also good for safety as well.
Yeah, it's not good. But the point I'm making is that there are a lot of entry points in this country, unauthorized or unapproved sources of entry in this country. If you walk along even just the end point of the water region upwards, there are a lot of road paths that you can pass.
Actually, the ones that have not are not manned, we're told.
Yes.
Is about 42.
Yeah.
Those ones are porous.
Yeah.
Those ones.
Those are the points that are not manned.
Yes.
Then there are areas.
Yes.
That one is not point. Area.
Yeah.
A whole area.
Just a vast
area that people can
just walk in.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can just walk in.
Yeah.
And especially when it is dominating discussions at the World Bank and IMF summit in Washington.
Yeah.
They're saying that we're likely to lose about $3 billion just within the process in these countries.
Yes, of course, because one, if you have a friend who even want to come to you for tourist purpose, will not come.
And investors will shy away.
Investors will shy away. And
actually, we shy
I have
away
a lot
from
of friends who wanted to visit Ghana. They said no, but because of the Ebola, they are not coming.
Yes.
And there's no two ways about that. I heard a report from one of the universities saying that in terms of probability, we are highest on the agenda. And I said, I mean, this one, nobody's supposed to tell us that we are highest on the regard to the Ebola because we are in the sub-region.
Yes.
If you are in the sub-region and we are very close to the Ebola, so if you rate countries, honestly, if you leave this country, they lump some all of us together.
West Africa.
They don't even say Ghana, Liberia, or anything. It's West Africa.
Yeah.
It's West Africa.
He's a West African MP.
He's a
West African politician.
He's a West African politician. He's a West African. So they don't go to West Africa. That's it. So it's not Liberia, it is not Guinea, it is not Cote d'Ivoire. No, it is West Africa problem. So the bottom line is that the foreign inflows, the foreign direct investment and indirect investment is going to fall drastically, and that's going to affect all these countries, especially we in the sub-region. Yes.
Yeah, in those countries, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, economic activity is grinding to a halt. People are reluctant to go to the market because of the human contact. People are not farming. People are not trading. A lot of the trading is people moving commodity from one region to another. People are not doing that. So commercial activity is grinding to a halt. Schools have been closed. Education institutions have been closed. A lot of people are refraining from going to work because they are afraid of human contact. So their economies are gradually slowing down, which is making it even difficult for their governments to tackle. Liberia, the health workers want allowances. The government is not in a position to provide it. Even on the best of economic circumstances, the government is challenged enough. Then there's no economic activity. Where does the government get the money to pay them? So Liberia, for example, is under they are virtually shutting down. Sierra Leone tried to stem it by shutting the country down for 72 hours. Everybody stayed indoors while they went around screening people. And they felt that was so successful, they have actually halted the spread. But it is spreading. Ebola, with those countries, it's just one community. Like Aflao Lobe. Just one community. And so it spread very fast in those three countries.
And it's frightening.
Yes.
The way
the issue is not about screening equipment. It's people walking to the market, walking to school. Yes. It's just one community. And Ebola is only one plane ride away. Look at what happened in Europe, Spain, and the US. Just one passenger traveling or somebody traveling across with contact, And they were demonstrating how the health worker could have contacted it. Yes, they do all the protective gear. But when you finish and you are taking it off, you accidentally touch some section of the gear you are taking off. And then you become contaminated without realizing it. And after 21 days, then the thing starts. So it is a very frightening thing, and the whole world is at risk.
And within the incubation period, even if you pass through what we've installed at KIA, it won't be detected.
It may not, but with this new one, it will.
It will be.
With this new one, it will be, because in the incubation stage, the earlier stages is less able to detect. That is why
the latter.
Yes, that is why they depend more on the information you give on arrival, where you have been, the people you've been in contact with, and what you have done. Because the gentleman who died in America,
Duncan,
yes, he
did not disclose.
No, what happened was that he helped to carry a niece who was pregnant to the hospital because she was in labor. Now, her condition was associated with childbirth, not Ebola. But what they didn't know was that she was also incubating. It was after he had traveled, that he got to know the girl had died because of Ebola, not because of complications of childbirth. Similarly, where people were aged and they died at home, people felt that, oh, they died by virtue of old age, not realizing that...
the number of risk factors.
Yes, and then in the traditional method, the body handling, the family go and wash the body, etc., then everybody is contaminated. And even in the burial process, more contamination. So that was what has actually aggravated the situation so badly there. And getting people to halt, initially when they started advising people that change these traditional measures, even burial, people were being encouraged to...
Shaking of hands?
No, the people were being encouraged that the bodies should be cremated. That too was another traditional thing that people couldn't get used to. So now...
Because it was at variance to what their beliefs
practices were. Yes. Now people have seen that, oh, this person contaminated because he went to this funeral, or this person got it because he went. So now it is now coming home. So now, but the problem is that it has moved so fast. So we have to this is a major problem, worldwide problem.
It seemed to have created a lot of instability in the sub-region. Already we're having Boko Haram up in northern Nigeria. They're making incursions even to the border of Cameroon, even kidnapping, even up to the vice president's wife, etc.
Yes, I think Ebola is even beyond some group of people. I mean, if it is just the incursions by this Boko Haram group, I think we should not be so much worried. This is something that you cannot even see by your naked eye. You cannot even phantom, and it's there. Look at, because our traditional behavior, the way we live in Africa, is very, very difficult to deal with this kind of diseases, because we like gathering at a particular place. We like seeing each other. We like associations. We like groupings. You understand me? And shaking hands, embracing each other, is part of our culture. It's part of our culture. Because there's no way you can go to a funeral or any program that you will not shake hands, that you will not embrace, especially where maybe within a year you've not been to your hometown or something, and there's a funeral. Everybody will be embracing.
And especially you politicians who have to interact with a lot more people. For example, the MPP and even your party, you are undertaking elections.
Yes, everybody have to. So it is a very dangerous situation in which we find ourselves. And honest, to be honest, this is more deadly than anything to think of.
It's the most deadly,
Deadly.
Because of the rate of fatality. It's
not just the rate of fatality, the rate of infection.
The rate of infection.
It can just, and yesterday, President Kufuor, it was reported yesterday that President Kufuor has called that we should change the system of shaking hands when we go to funerals. In Nigeria, they don't do it. I went to a funeral, some people had come from Nigeria, and they didn't want to shake hands. And you know what? People were grumbling, oh, these people too, they don't want to shake hands. These people, what do they think? Because in Nigeria, they had just decided no handshakes. Because they had better, this is something...
I think we all need to put a stop
We need
to.
And we must, you see, we'll have to accept it. If we don't accept it, you come in and I don't shake hands with you, I don't shake hands with me, this man thinks that one reason or the other. But when we have all accepted it and the handshake doesn't happen, it's no big deal. So it's something that we have to work on.
But since we all tend to travel in and out of the country, often we meet people either at the airports, in different countries, etc. And you never know, a parent may even come home traveled and just get their family infected, and it's a very risky situation.